Hello. I hope everybody's having a great Onpasseiv day. Man, I tell you, we are heading into an exciting season of events and a lot of things are happening. With regard to Dubai and the Burj Khalifa, the focus won't be promoting founders. That's not why we started running the campaigns there, and even though founders made a cameo of sorts, it got a lot of good mileage out of there. That wasn't the reason for it. The reason for running the campaigns at the Burj is for Onpasseiv branding. Yep, we want to build recognition, we want to build trust, and we want to shore up our very, very good reputation. Secondarily, those campaigns are taking us seamlessly into the next phase, which is when we want to start monetizing. This is to say, monetizing is not going to be done through founders simply because founders is not meant to be a profit-generating platform. It's a benefit, a ringside seat, if you will, for the founders. So we're working on more designs that focus attention on other aspects of Onpasseiv during our marketing there in Dubai. Founders may be put in the mix, maybe one more time just for a good measure, but after the next week or so, there won't be a need for that or even a need to mention the founders anymore. So right now, we say that we're at the Burj, at the Burj Khalifa. People in the know understand where and what that is, and they know that we are, in Marty's words, quote unquote, a serious contender. So that's a very good thing, and we'll continue marketing at the Burj at least through June or July timeframe next year, 2023. That has already been contracted, already been paid for. It is as we say, a done deal. The plan is to stay on course concerning our strategy, which is to test, stabilize, and scale. And next in that strategy is, wait for it, monetizing. Yes, sir, baby. We're going to start selling, so get ready to get ready. But I got to tell you, there's a few things that need to happen before we do, and we'll probably mention some of that stuff later. Anyway, we've heard about the event planned out for the 28th of this month, right? Well, there's a key person in that event that's got some serious things going on in the family, so we're asking for prayers. Now, that event is just one of the marketing campaigns we have planned, so depending on how that plays out, we may have to postpone it just a little bit, move it to a later date or do some shifting. But please be patient and just go with the flow. It's going to happen. We're just not sure about the timing. Incidentally, there's also going to be 2 or 3 more events in the U.S. for those of you that wanted to know. But the promotions mentioned with the founders going on in various places in India with the large posters and flyers and beverages, handing out snacks and stuff, those are still scheduled. We want to live stream these events with broadcast snippets from famous locations as a way to share the excitement and in an effort to help build our brand. And this means that we may have maybe 2 or 3 minutes from each location, kind of like we did in Dubai with the different locations there. And since we're going to be doing, 30 locations in India, iconic places too, like Taj Mahal, a couple of places in Pakistan, at least one in Bangladesh, live streaming could last up, an hour and a half, maybe to 2 hours, depending. So keep in mind, though, that we may have to shift some timelines for some of these events. So be patient and be supportive. And this is to say that the events for India haven't quite been given a green light yet. So they may be pushed out because certain things, as I said before, need to happen before the company is going to allow us to move forward with that. To that end, we also need to know that blessed policies apply to everybody in and out of Onpasseiv, meaning, everybody's got to follow the rules. And we should be aware, Onpasseiv has hired more compliance employees and legal teams, and trust me, they are not messing around when it comes to compliance and keeping the integrity of our business. So we've been told. Anyway, very soon we're going to have a blessed website as well. And as you would imagine, in true Onpasseiv style, we're going to be doing things the right way. Now, Obless is going to be operating through Onpasseiv as a part of our corporate and social responsibility, and we're excited about that. Simply because Obless is the only crowdfunding platform that has 0 fees. 100% of the funding goes to the cause, right? All the money that's collected, it goes to the cause, to its beneficiaries, to the public, so to speak, the organizations. Not 1 red cent goes to Onpasseiv. It is not a profit-generating business for Onpasseiv. And speaking of Onpasseiv, the website that we've got, the Onpasseiv.com, is being renewed every couple of weeks or so, and it's linked to us individually as founders. This effort, the website renewal, is being scaled. It's being expedited to get to the point of having a brand new one every day. Remember, a couple of years ago, Mr. Mufara told us that we were going to have new websites every day. Every founder, every day, new websites, right? And we're talking about complete, full-blown websites, complete, they got SEO, they're coded to us, they're replicated for us. So if you'll check in your back office links, you're going to see an Onpasseiv.com link number 51, that is for you to use and to share, and it's yours. That's your personal Onpasseiv site. So that effort's being ramped up, and once that happens, new sites every day, the public opening is going to be very close. So for now, that's the new marker. That's what we're waiting for. But remember, these things are also tied to the opening of our data centers, which we can talk about, I guess, in a few minutes. But first, a question. How are we behaving as founders? Onpasseiv is a dynamic, life-changing solution for humanity, and we need to treat it that way. We need to be actively modeling the company's ethics, its integrity, its generosity. I think it's fair to say that Onpasseiv treats its founders like royalty, like partners even. And we should be appreciative, and our behavior should mirror the heart, I'll say, of Onpasseiv. We should be able to reflect, in Mr. Mufara's own words, quote, that energy, that attitude, and that character, unquote. So let's treat our business as the business it is, not as the business solely used for personal gain. Of course, to be honest, we're going to benefit personally in a whole lot of different ways. But to that end, we've outgrown the network marketing mentality already, simply because it is not who or what we are. That's it, plain and simple. What we should be working on now is to leave the what about me mentality behind as well. And as long as I'm at it, let me tell you, I'll let you in on a little secret here, that by not showing genealogies in the back office, Mr. Mufara has done us a great favor by alleviating the need for a team mentality and the stress that went with it. We are only responsible for what we do, no one else. Rest assured, there is no stopping this, and Onpasseiv will do the work. So, we've also got multi-regional data centers in the works, right? We've been working on developing those since last November. I think there's 6, maybe 7 of them in the works. But get this, maybe by the end of this weekend, we should have some sort of a completion or maybe a tentative date for our first data center to go live. And man, let me tell you, that's huge. Oh, and by the way, go to Friday Night Live if you want to hear a bunch more about data centers and that sort of thing, because the tech team and myself and Marty and Lynn had a real good time with that last night. So anyway, like I was saying, those data centers, that's huge. That allows us the freedom to do what we want without being strapped to somebody else's rules, right? Because, to put it mildly, if you live in somebody else's house, you got to, live under their roof. You got to live under their rules. But get this, our first data center is going to be able to accommodate about 1 billion people running multiple applications all at the same time, right? Using multiple products. Now, Mr. Mufara talked about this earlier this week in the roundtable discussion on Monday, and I would certainly recommend listening to that if you haven't. And again, while I'm at it, Tuesday's 360, with Marty and the gang there, that was a very, very good webinar, very informative. I would suggest you go listen to that one too, because they broke it down pretty good. So anyway, like I was saying, our first data center can handle about 1 billion people using multiple products at the same time. And I don't mean just 2 or 3 of them. I mean like 20 or 30 of them. And the system won't even blink. You won't even know that it's working that hard. It won't even raise a sweat, right? That's unheard of. Now, last week in the video that I did, I mentioned that there was a number that we wanted to make sure we could handle, somewhere around 500 million, because when we jumped up and we had 800 million 6 months after we launched, we didn't want to crash. Well, let me tell you something. I really enjoyed knowing that this week we learned that the data center is going to handle some 20 billion applications running at the same time, and all their associated peripherals all simultaneously. Wow, We should know perhaps in a day or two when it's going to go live. I guess we'll see. But when it's ready, the Onpasseiv database is going to be migrated to it, and that's when all the magic starts to happen. The idea here is to have everybody connected to a data center close to them, right? A data center in their region, or at least in a region close to them. And we'll start with a few on each continent. Eventually, we're going to scale it to countries and maybe every other country. So there's going to be a bunch of them, a lot of them. They're going to be operating at lightning speed, and they're going to be all over the place. So this is what I call Onpasseiv class, man. And it's really just another way that Onpasseiv is providing an ultimate value. So hang on, be grateful, be patient. It's happening. It's happening all at once, guys. So also, the Onpasseiv teams, our tech teams have been working on beefing up the O-Founders admin. It's cPanel. But I think we use the term cPanel generically as a term for graphical interface, a GUI, right? GUI, and automation tools that are designed just to simplify the process of hosting a website, right? For the end user or us or whatever. It actually does this through enabling some administrative stuff through a standard web browser. But anyway, without it, you wouldn't, without it, you'd have to have some technical knowledge just to manage the website or the server. But with it, yeah, you're able to make changes using the GUI without any technical knowledge being required. So they're beefing it up, and that just simply means they're refeaturing it, giving it more features, giving it more automation, enhancing its performance, that sort of stuff. They've been testing it too, and everything about it has checked out okay, and it's able to go live. So woohoo! Man, things are moving. Now, we've also got innovation labs rocking and rolling. I think we've talked about those on Friday Night Live, and I know Lynn has got, the tech pros. They've talked about it. I know that at least one of them's already done, and they've got more in development, and that means that we're going to have multiple labs in different locations. There's no need to say where they are or where they'll be. It's just not relevant for us. Either way you look at it, it's going to be cranking out good stuff for us. These innovation labs, these are for developing and testing physical products, right? The engineers, they make the demo products, then they test them, and that can be a pretty tough process. It can also be lengthy. Sometimes as part of the testing, we got to keep a prototype running for, upwards of 6 months. And that's just to get the approval. And by the way, that approval comes from Onpasseiv, nobody else. So once you got a prototype that passes testing, they can actually go and build the actual product. Then, in order to protect that product and our business, obviously we go through the legalities of, whatever, and patenting and, whatever needs to be done for a specific or particular product. Now, right now, Onpasseiv has 2 such products like that. I'm talking prototypes, right? That have already successfully passed testing. And there's more on the way. Now, to be precise, I'm talking about 2 disruptive, game-changing, history-making products that have passed rigorous testing. And these products are at the level of Edison, Ford, and the Wright brothers, right? To compare it against somebody more contemporary, the influencers of today that have changed the world, think of Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. We need to understand Onpasseiv is heading confidently, right? We got swagger, as Milo would say, and we're boldly going into the next phase, and that is, it's without doubt, and it's all happened at the same time, right? Websites, control panels, inventions, products, digital ecosystem, innovation labs, data centers, it's all happening now. Also, hey, we're about to shut the founders opportunity forever. So, I guess that's a good segue. So I'll ask you again, what is our perception of this magnificent company, and how does our behavior reflect that magnificence? Do we have a heart for others and for the greater good? Are we actively modeling the company's ethics, its integrity, its generosity? And speaking of generosity, how about that comp plan? And where are the founders found in its priorities? Well, Mr. Mufara talked a little bit about that the other day, and there were priorities. He actually described 4 of them. But I'm not going to delineate all 4 of these priorities for you. You need to go back and listen to what he said. But I will tell you this. Priority 1 is that Onpasseiv stays sustainable, so it pays its overhead first. all the costs for the products, the inventions, the system creation, R&D, employees, contracts, utilities, benefits, everything. They pay it first, right? Priorities 2, 3, and 4 are given to founders. So go listen to that roundtable meeting and check it out. I think you'll probably like what you hear. Now, regardless of where we actually fall in these priorities, founders will always be looked at first when it comes to compensation. Simply because Onpasseiv isn't keeping any of it, okay? And the value of the timing of our acceptance for this opportunity, the Onpasseiv founder opportunity, cannot be overstated. Keep that in mind. You are in the right place at the right time. And speaking of the comp plan, you need to know we got mathematicians. We're talking a team of MIT level mathematicians. We have CPAs and attorneys and auditors, right? Either on payroll or retainer. And these are all people looking at the numbers. And once they're 100% convinced it works legally, globally, then we're off to the races and we're going to be successful. And obviously, Mr. Mufareh can share that success with whom and how he wants to. And trust me, he wants to share it all. He wants nothing kept in Onpasseiv coffers at all. Everything is to be paid out. And as he has previously said, quote, Onpasseiv is not greedy when it comes to profit, unquote. The question is, what are we doing with what we've been given? Now, remember the parable of the talents? The size of our gift is not the point of focus. What we do with it is. So, if you're already in Onpasseiv and you're an active founder, good on you. Keep up the good work. If you're in, but you haven't really found a way to be active, contact any other founder that is active, beginning with your sponsor if possible, and then start doing at least one good thing for your business every day. But if you're not in yet, but you've been invited, get back with the person that invited you to join. And if you have not been invited, you just click on the register link in the description box below, and then click on Become a Founder in the top right-hand corner of the web page, unless you click the Join My Team link, and that'll take you straight to a registration form. But whatever it is that you decide to do, or not to do, as the case may be, just know that we only wish blessing and blessing upon you and your entire family.